Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name's Josh Cav. In my last episode I was working on a exhaust manifold for my RX-8, which is behind me here on the hoist, and unfortunately after I got the engine and everything back together, the engine suddenly doesn't have compression. Not sure why or what's going on. I have tried to diagnose it on the street and on the stand, trying to figure out what has gone wrong, but just due to the nature of rotaries, there's not really many more things I can do other than pull the engine out, rip it apart, and figure out what has gone wrong with this engine and why it has such low compression. So what I'm going to do is whack this camera on a time lapse, rip this engine out, and then let's go through the engine together and figure out what the hell went wrong. Let's go.
This is one of those jobs I was really hoping I wouldn't have to do. The RX-8 engine has barely had time to settle in, and now here I am pulling it straight back out. Not exactly what I had planned, but when something isn't quite right, you've got to fix it. It's frustrating, but that's the process. When you're building these cars, they don't always go smoothly, especially when you're dealing with rotaries. Hopefully this is the last time I'll be doing this for a while, but knowing how these engines can be, I'm not making any promises. Let's go into it and figure out what went wrong.
Okay guys, here we have it. The engine is out. Alright, so just for shits and giggles, I wouldn't mind chucking a boroscope down the exhaust, which I got here. I believe I know what the cause of the problem, why it stopped. An oil line came loose, and obviously the oil pressure dropped, and I have a safety cutout programmed into the Heltec, which basically cuts it, puts it into limp mode basically. Let's see what we see. So far looks good. So guys, basically what I think happened when I was driving it was that safety feature went off. The engine had to come out anyway because I had put the side seals in from Atkins rotary, which was the main reason why it wouldn't start. It wouldn't idle on, well, it would idle, it would run fine, but I'd have to pour a bit of oil down the guts of it in order to get it started. Yeah, so this is basically a problem from the corner seals that I used from Atkins rotary. I would highly recommend don't ever use these seals, because I have read stuff on forums as well with other people having similar problems with compression on startup. I did build another engine, another RX-8 engine. This is an REW motor, but I have built a RX-8 motor with them seals in, and it did actually get compression after maybe a tank or two of fuel had gone through the engine. On the second drive, I believe it was when I had that cut off. Didn't really hear any weird noises or anything, which explains the computer obviously just shut the engine off or killed the timing, and so it just eventually came to a stop. I am going to pull down this motor. I've got some new side seals coming from ProMaz. Simon at ProMaz is sending me them. So I'm basically just going to rip it down, put the new corner seals in, just double check, make sure that all my clearances are right, which I know they were, unless they have changed, which I can't see why they would. I will include in that video, when I do pull this apart, I'll show you what they look like compared to the stock seals. But Simon basically said to me he doesn't use any other, he's never found an aftermarket seal that he would recommend, apart from one that's made by Mazda, which is a racing seal, and they are stupidly expensive. Yeah, let's pull this engine down, have a look inside, see what's going on. Yeah, we'll get these new seals hopefully sometime next week, put it all back together and get this thing finally up and running now that the manifold and everything is completed.
Alright, first I'm going to pull the uni clutch off. Let's get this thing off on the table and have a closer look at it. I'm pretty excited to see what this thing can do.
Okay guys, so I've got this clutch out and I'm going to do a full review on this thing because so far from what I've played around with it when I had it in the car just mucking around trying to bed these seals in, the clutch feels awesome. It's really soft and spongy, but it also bites hard if you release it suddenly. There is a little bit of, come and have a look close up here. I don't know what's going on here. It wasn't like that when I put it in, so we'll see how it holds up to the rotary. But so far, I really do like the feel of this clutch. I'll be doing a full video on that and a comparison from the last clutch, so stay tuned for that. Let's continue pulling this engine down.
Time to tear the 13B down to the short block. The oil pan, oil pump, front cover, everything's coming off. The issue? Low compression, and I'm pretty sure it's the side seals I used from Atkins rotary to blame. So I'm pulling it apart and swapping them out for genuine Mazda side seals. Rotaries are all about precision, and even the smallest inconsistency can cause problems.
Okay guys, so we're down to the short block now. This next part, because this is a studded block, it's a little bit tricky to pull apart because I've got two different types of studs going through here. So yeah, a little bit tricky to pull apart, but I will probably time lapse this part and we will jump in wherever we can and talk about any problems that I see as we're pulling it apart. So let's go.
Alright, time to pull the rear plate off. Here we have my mum helping out with the teardown. Not every day you get your mum working on a 13B, and honestly it's pretty awesome having her here.
Okay, so we've got down to our first look at the inside of this thing, and at first glance everything looks fine, but I have found the problem, and I'm not sure that it is the corner seals. I believe that it is my clearancing that I done with these side seals. I can see straight away from this one there's quite a lot of movement here, which I'm not sure how I've done, but if we go to our feeler gauge here, now this feeler gauge only goes to 0.38 of a millimeter, which we need to be 0.01 of a millimeter. So, but this is the lowest this feeler gauge goes to, and we can see even with that in there, there is quite a lot of movement there. So I'll wear it. That was my mistake. I'm not sure how I've done that, but they all seem to be fairly similar problem. Yeah, you can see there's still quite a lot of movement there. And if they're like that, I would say the others are the same. So what I'm going to do is order some new side seals. I'm thinking I might give these Atkins corner seals another go, just because I haven't used them in an REW engine yet, and it'd be interesting just to see how they go. So I'm going to replace these and then re-clearance them, which is a big job. That'll take a day just to get all of these cut down to size. So I will pull all this down and clean it all, stack it. We'll order them new seals. We'll get them from ProMaz, Simon in ProMaz down in Sydney. He'll send them up to me. And then we can reassemble this engine and hopefully sort that out. The next video, what we're going to be working on is on the Supra, which is the 2JZ, which is over there in the corner. We're going to be, yeah, we'll come have a look at it. going to be finally assembling the gearbox, which is over on the bench over there, onto the back of this and putting it into the car. That's the next stage with the Supra. I was hoping to get the RX-8 off the stand so that I could do this on the stand, but it's not going to happen, so I'm just going to have to swap them around and whatever. Anyway, that'll be the next video. So if you like the content, guys, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you for the next one. Cheers, everyone.